This week's crystal grid is charged to clarify, expand, and enhance multidimensional and multispectral perception, advancing and empowering spiritual and sacred skills, and revelation of the true nature of the soul self and the true nature of the souls of others. Don't forget to check your rising sign for greater clarity as to how your sun sign horoscope may show up, and your moon sign for the less prominent side story of the week. And stay tuned for the latest all-in-one astrology and collective vibration check. Blessings, everyone. It's time for another all-in-one astrology and weekly vibe check. But in this video, it's not really going to be, well, a weekly horoscope at all. We are actually talking about more of a 2.5-month energy trend that is settling in right now and only getting stronger as we go from here all the way through the end of July 2021. And that, of course, is Jupiter in Pisces. Now, I know Jupiter moved into Pisces back on the 13th of May, but for those of you who have your ear to the ground and you've been tapping into the energies that have been going on recently, you understand that when these big moves happen, it's good to let things actually take effect and go to work before you start reaching in and trying to predict things or just copying and pasting all kinds of, textbook astrology and things like that. Because you know my style. My style is very much more mystical astrology than anything else. That being said, for those of you who are new to this style of doing all-in-ones, remember, you can always open the down bar below and look at the list of different areas for each sign and what areas of life are getting highlighted for each area or for each sign. Check your rising sign as well. And also understand that this is where a lot of opportunities for change in other areas of your life will start getting birthed from as well. So it's like through one house, another house will also go through a transformation and so on and so forth. Jupiter in Pisces is a bit unique in the sense that well, at least for this 2.5-month span, because he's not making any major contact with other outer planets, and we'll be getting to that in a second. That does make this a very special time, especially before Jupiter goes into Pisces for a longer period at the end of the year. Yes, Neptune is in Pisces, but the thing about that is that it's just so far into Pisces, they're not close enough to make any kind of meaningful contact or conjunction. So we're not going to be talking too much about that right now. And I also want to preface this by saying, for those of you that are, again, new, my style of reading is talking about the now and forward. I know there are a lot of astrologers and tarot readers out there who have more of a this is where you've been, talk you through it kind of style. But for me, my style has always been more in the realm of the mystic and the predictive and the foretelling. And so that is what you're going to get here and what is going on. But we are in this a little bit. So, for those of you that have been practicing, engaging in your spiritual path, engaging in your practice, remember this is the practitioner's channel. You're going to be probably also getting some context into some things that have already started coming up over the last 4 to 5 days. Jupiter in Pisces is actually incredibly benefic to everybody. Jupiter is actually the classical ruler of Pisces, and so we're actually seeing Jupiter, in a sense, return to a space that he also calls home. Jupiter is actually going to be amplifying and expanding everything that goes on, not only for the entire collective, that Piscean rising from the depths, bridge between worlds kind of experience, but also accelerating our collective consciousness evolution process by actually hurrying and shoving everyone along. If you'll recall, last year in my incoming waves, I was talking about how as we got into the spring of 2020, this shift in consciousness will start accelerating at a rate that was faster than maybe the slowest among us at the time. Well, we are going through a very similar kind of power leveling through this next 2.5 months. And I do see a lot of big shifts going on, just again, collectively as well. Some big surprises I think are definitely going to be on the way. But when it comes to your personal chart, be prepared because that area is also getting power leveled, whatever it is, wherever it be. Jupiter is all about divine abundance, right? It is the divine abundance principle, the divine ascended masculine cultivation principle, and it is there to actually increase, enhance, and improve quality of life across the board. Jupiter is going to actually be giving everything not only a grow up and a level up, but also a bit of a glow up in this part of your chart. Jupiter is this year especially going to be bringing in this focus on divine partnership revelations. And that is because Jupiter in Pisces is a partnership energy as far as alchemy is concerned. Now, the interesting thing about this is that when we talk about alchemy, we're going beyond the topic of romantic relationships. Now, of course, if this is an intention that you have, then yes, this supports that. Divine aligned partnerships are all about getting an opportunity to connect with individuals and communities. You know, it doesn't have to be a twosome, it could be a triad, it could be whatever you want, to actually get more deeply involved and more productive with your own journey that is actually on the same road and in the same lane as theirs. It's not about just romance. This is also bringing in the divine brotherhood, sisterhood, divine fellowship experience as well, which, when you think about it, makes sense. Jupiter and Neptune are brothers, right? Zeus and Poseidon are brothers. And so there is a huge emphasis on divine partnership across the board, especially when it comes to partnerships in divine growth, divine service, as well as anything that is going to be actually having a positive collateral effect on the environment around it. So, you know, especially if it's a very giving, very generous, right? It makes love, not takes love kind of energy. This is also going to be taking a lot of existing partnerships through divine alignment processes, setting people up to become more divinely aligned to their partner or to be divinely aligned for the right partner or the right partnerships. Again, platonic, romantic, it doesn't matter. You know, it's whatever is needed at the time, whatever serves in the highest interest of all concerned. Big amplifications here, whatever it takes, right? Jupiter, divine abundance. So if it takes that extra social availability, if it takes the opportunity to be able to connect more, if it takes resources, Jupiter is putting it all together, lining it all up, and also bringing in, again, more than one type of partnership at a time. We also have activation and revelation of the true spiritual self going on for those that may not have necessarily been aware of it. And so once again, we are seeing this massive level up, this huge uptick when it comes to where people are in their spiritual practice, but not just their spiritual practice, their spiritual effectiveness. That not just awake, but also aware, active, evolving, participating, and practicing. You're going to be noticing that your sacred skills and purposive opportunities are going to actually be quite prolific and quite plentiful during this time. Very socially stimulating, but also very spiritually stimulating. There's also an amplification of the hidden or subtle planes or subtle areas of our life. Jupiter going into Pisces is all about shining this brilliant light in the depths of not only this part of your chart, but the depths of your entire chart. What is being covered up? What is in the shadows? What is being blocked from getting released or revealed or enhanced or cleared or purged? What is being tamped down? What is being ignored? What is being overlooked? Or what has been made invisible so far? Definitely feel like this next 2 months, starting very, very soon, that we are going to be having a lot of these revelations also happen on a collective level, and it is going to be a lot of wake up opportunities, wake up calls, clarion calls for a lot of people, and even for people that considers themselves to be spiritually awake and spiritually aware. A bit of, let's just say, a bit of a clarity call as well for what that really means versus what a lot of, let's just say, mainstream spiritual awakening types think it means. And really seeing some opportunities to get on a much more organic and much more authentic and much more empowering way of going through that whole process. We're also seeing distribution of new abundance and wealth opportunities coming through this area. Especially when it comes to situations that bring benefits to more than one individual that could be involved in that area of the chart, or involved in anything, right? We're going to be connecting more. We're already seeing this. A lot of things are not only opening back up, but we're actually seeing a bit more freedom than we thought possible at this given point in time. You can thank, this shift that's been going on, especially since the equinox, for that. A lot of new opportunities for clearing and release of impediments going on. A lot of soul groups getting released from being bound to soul groups they no longer have any kind of business with. And yes, I do see this maybe also doing a lot of work on entanglements where obsession, fixation, or wounding is holding together people that need to be released from one another. And that, yes, involves families, yes, involves relationships, yes, involves friendships, business partnerships, across the board. Everyone is getting a chance to be given what they need for where they are. And because Jupiter in Pisces is all about everyone, right? Highest interest of all concerned, not who needs it more, him or him, who needs it more, her or her, they or them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is actually giving everyone a chance to get set up, but it might come as a bit of a shock what that actually means. And so pay attention over the course of this. The blessings that are coming are the blessings for you, and the blessings that come to others are the blessings for them. And yes, this revelation of what your path really is, what your true self really is, what an actual spiritual experience really is going to be quite intense for everybody. But it's going to be proportionate to what they need and where they are in their process. This is also going to be a time of discovery of buried treasure, right? And bridges across the etheric. This is a powerful time of alchemy. We talk about the discovery of buried treasure. Let's go back to that topic of amplification and revelation of what is hidden, what's underneath, what's coming up out of the etheric, out of the shadow, out of the subconscious, to be cleared, purged, reclaimed, scrubbed off. In some cases, some of it's just getting purged right out of here. Some of it's not necessary, helpful, or healing at all. And some of it could actually be gold. And so there's an unearthing across all levels. My advice for everyone, though, is pay attention to this. Jupiter in Pisces is one that is ultimately in favor of anything and everything that is ultimately going to better bridge the soul with its own higher self and its own higher aspects. As you see when we get to the cards, there seems to be, I don't want to say, it's not a judgment, but there seems to be sort of a very pummeling kind of energy that's coming from this against the superficial, against the shallow, against the plastic and the artificial and the fake. And so anything where there's some of that could be going on, we want to be careful with that. Pisces itself is all about the psychic, the realm of dreams, the realm of fantasy. And again, it's a bridge between the physical and the non-physical and the etheric. And so we're also seeing an amplification and a revelation of what is real versus what is an illusion. Now, with Jupiter in Pisces, Jupiter, of course, being at the advantage in Pisces, right, the secondary ruler of this sign, this is an opportunity for more truth. It's not the Piscean deception with Jupiter in there. That idea of, oh, it's all an illusion, that is self-imposed if you choose to go through with that, right? The self-imposed illusions and delusions. The thing about Jupiter in Pisces is that you kind of get told what is a lie, what is not a lie, where you're kidding yourself, and where that's not going to manifest anything. And we all have to face those things every once in a while. Facing our fears, facing our nightmares, facing our shadows, but also accepting things that are ultimately working in our benefit, but at the same time might be intimidating to us to actually take on. So the big spiritual theme, during this time is the Seven of Pentacles upright. And one of the things that I'm kind of noticing here is that there is this big focus on curation going on. There is this huge focus on everybody getting set up for success, which is absolutely fantastic. But with the Seven of Pentacles, it is also really bringing this very deep focus into actually remodeling and setting ourselves up for success by actually redistributing where we put a lot of our attention, where we put a lot of our energy, and so that we can actually have the best harvest possible. Now, with that Seven of Pentacles, this is where, a lot of that Jupiter influence especially can actually be seen, because with that Jupiter influence, we've been seeing this whole focus on distribution of new abundance and wealth. We're also seeing this discovery of hidden treasures, seeing the ultimate potential of all things that are going on in our life, as well as amplifying and revealing what is hidden or what was out of sight or what was on the etheric, on the subtle plane, on the subconscious. The Seven of Pentacles is all about that, right? You are really getting into the dirt, and you are looking at everything under the big leaves and under the budding vegetables and everything that ultimately we need to know about our soil, our roots, and the content of everything we have been investing our energy into. You most likely are going to find that some things are not in a place where they can be redeemed, or even some things that you've had for a very long time that do need to go, that actually puts everything else in a position to have its best chance, right? The Seven of Pentacles, we're taking stock, but we are also weeding and fertilizing according to what needs are needing to be met and what actually has its best chance. You can hear Persephone meowing at her toy as we go forward. As we get onto the realm of Earth, the material realm, what is already manifest, what we are bringing into this period, what we can notice about things that have been maybe long-standing or ongoing trends, what has been, quote, normal, that is going through a bit of a shift. We've got the King of Wands reversed. And remember when I said a lot of things that are superficial, that are flake, that are fake, plastic, or maybe even just completely inauthentic in and of themselves, posing, really getting pummeled during this period, and probably after this period as well. The King of Wands reversed is removing a lot of superficial people, superficial prospects, unfair things from our life, but also getting a lot of things out of our way. Because one of the things about the King of Wands reverse that I've also noticed, peering into this, is that there is this removal of a lot of middle types, right? Middle people, middle men, middle women, gatekeepers, salespeople, that kind of thing that stand between the seeker or the seeking or the worker or the working or the one with the need, the one that is pursuing, the consumer, and the actual creator. And we're going to see a lot of really cool shifts going on, even I think in terms of collective sensibility. There is this big push that is also amplifying what we've already seen, that which is wholesome, that which is organic, that which is actually authentic is getting the rise, and that which is maybe riding coattails, that which ultimately is just chasing trends, or that which ultimately is fake or faked altogether is going away. And you're going to also see an absence of the inauthentic in your life. There is going to be a release of things that are ultimately a drain, a release of things that are ultimately no good, a release of things that were maybe set up on faulty foundations across the board. And we're going to see this collectively as well. As we get on to the air sector, we talk about news, messages, things that we're going to need to pay attention to as far as not only our social lives are concerned, but also collective sensibility. Got the 10 of Wands upright. And this is a time where we are all going to be contemplating things that ultimately we no longer need to keep just because we've had them for a very long time. Now, this can sometimes show up in cases like the collective, you know, everyone on Earth, where it's like, well, what parts of our life did we maybe lose or have tabled this last year or so that were too laborious, too high maintenance, too costly, too inefficient to be worth a damn now that everything is moving in an all new direction. This can also, of course, take place now, right? In your personal life, your social life. Everyone who took this last year and a half to actually work on themselves, develop themselves, go through this collective shift process that has been, you know, made available for over 10 years, is actually going through this right now. What exactly am I carrying on my back? What exactly am I continuing to hold in density that ultimately doesn't belong? And yes, I'm seeing more of a continuance of what we talked about earlier this month, with a lot of friendships, social connections starting to go through a bit of a movement, people going away from maybe inauthentic relationships or friendships that are high maintenance, or looking for more substantial connections, even in the platonic, especially with a focus on one-on-one connections, and with those that are already naturally a given complementary connection, those that are already naturally brought together, where the things that take too much work to keep up are going to falter. The stuff that takes way too much work to be worth a damn, we are having come up for evaluation and, you know, maybe a bit of, yes, I would say scrapping. I mean, everyone has a choice in the matter, of course, but it's really getting brought to your attention what it is for what it really is. And you're going to see this in a lot of your social doings, a lot of your projects, a lot of even your long-term plans. And it's for everybody's own good, I think. As we get on to what is getting transmuted, right? What's getting purged, what is coming up to also be cleared. We've got the 6 of Pentacles in reverse. And with the 6 of Pentacles reversed, there is also a need for everyone to kind of look and see where there has to be a bit of a change from chasing things that are dead ends, right? Seeking that which is not giving back. And really turn that around, right? When we talk about the 6 of Pentacles reversed, as a challenge, you know, there can be a need to know when to turn things down that are draining you, and also turn away from things that maybe you are hooked on that is never going to be yours. Oh, my right ear just started ringing as I said that. Turning away from things that ultimately that will not be yours. Now, with the 6 of Pentacles reversed, right, it's an attention shift. So we also get a chance to see what we've been missing out on. If we've been fixated on something or someone, or we have been maybe caught up in a frenzy, caught up in a trend, caught up in some kind of wave that has maybe taken us off course. We're getting a chance to undo that and reverse that so that we not only get back on the right course, right, but also see maybe some misdirection that we didn't know we were self-imposing by agreeing to be misdirected. You know, and this is where we get a chance to see what maybe we were blinding ourselves from, or what we allowed to blind us from what we needed. As we get on to the relationships or the love, as well as romantic relationships and our personal lives, how we do family, and how we do our spiritual path as well. We've got the King of Pentacles in reverse. And during this period, the message is actually very, very strong. It's very, very clear. Where do we need to drop trying to live a life that doesn't belong to us, right? Because the King of Pentacles reversed is all about this opportunity for success in something that takes you away from who you really are, that it's not an authentic expression of self. And just because you don't know yourself doesn't mean you should go copy somebody else, because that person's not you either, right? And we also have to see, where are some imprints, some recipe cards for success that may have been imprinted on our consciousness that are informing our behaviors, informing our likes and dislikes, informing our talents, our gifts, our trust, our love, the way we handle our partners, the way we go about getting a partner, the way we actually feel safe, how we handle our kids, how we handle our own spiritual path and practice. What is our discipline there? Okay, the King of Pentacles reversed is showing us everything that we carry, everything that we do, that is also not authentic in hopes of success. And with that Seven of Pentacles, where some of that needs to just go into the compost. So that is what I've got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You know I appreciate it. And should you ever want to get a session with me, go on ahead to my website. It's integrativemysticism.com.